अस्सलाम वालेकुम, नमस्ते, सत श्री अकाल। आप सबका स्वागत है। आप देख रहे हैं साउथ एशियन फोकस टीवी। मेरा नाम है हुमा खान और मेरे साथ हमेशा की तरह
मैं सनी जोशी भी आपका हार्दिक अभिनंदन, हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूँ।
Now, Sunny, we've got our guests here in the studio with us. We've got Faisal from Brown Man Clothing and
Smiley Faisal, you should say.
Smiley Faisal, who
Always
loves
smiling.
always smiling, and he's been a guest on our show many times before, and he's here to talk about an event that's coming up. And along with him, we've got Bhupesh Shah, who is a photographer and also associated with this Brown Man Clothing event. So, welcome to the studio, gentlemen.
Welcome, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us again.
So, Faisal, what's going on now? What are you guys up to?
So we're here to talk about our model contest. We were here a couple of months ago, I think back in early May, we were talking about what we do, our yearly model contest event, and now we're here to talk about how great it was. You're going to meet our female model winner. I brought one of my awesome fashion photographers to tell you all about what we do, how we do it, and talk about how we get the community involved. So yeah, that's what we're here to chat about.
Wonderful. Bhupesh, how difficult it is to actually, you're a photographer, you're doing all these, people that are just very regular people like us, and how difficult it is to actually teach them what needs to be done at that point.
It is quite hard, but I think that the models are great in that they listen, you give them some suggestions, some recommendations, and it takes a bit of time. You build up a rapport, and then eventually it's seamless. You don't really realize that it's a difficult task. It's more of just fun.
You start thinking.
Well, I think Sunny's asking because he wants to learn to model for you.
No,
I'm sure you could.
I'm way past that.
Yeah. So tell me about the contest. How many contestants were there?
So this year I think we broke yet another record. I think this time we got about 8,000 entries worldwide. Wow. Most of them, of course, being from the North America region. We had contestants as far as New York come this time and attend. So again, we screened it all out to the people that we kind of thought would sort of reflect the Brown Man Clothing brand properly. Had them participate in our photo shoot with full-on hair and makeup. And we had an awesome event. We had 3 photographers, full day of photography, fashion, and just discussions and whatnot. And it all came down to obviously a male winner and a female winner. Yeah, and that's what it is. So yeah, so it was great.
Nice.
And Bhupesh, how was your experience overall?
Well, I've done this a number of years, and I would say this past model competition was the best.
Oh, really?
The reason for that was we had phenomenal photographers, not saying that right, that worked really well together. So we all helped each other out. So the lighting was great. We had a professional studio, and Faisal's organizational skills are just incredible.
Oh wow! Yeah.
And the makeup
I've ever heard of
and
that.
the makeup artists were also bang on. So everything was seamless. It ran really smoothly, and it was a lot of fun. I'll be honest with you.
How much did he pay you to say that?
We'll negotiate that afterwards.
So you've been involved with this from the beginning, or how many years?
This will be my 3rd year.
3rd year now, right? Yeah.
It's interesting how I got into it. I just love the designs, and I love the fact that
I was going to say
he promotes.
I was admiring your shirt.
Okay.
Is that
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's very creative.
But I get a lot of compliments as a result. But that's not why I do this. When I first started contacting Faisal, it was because South Asians didn't have representation in the area that I was in, which is teaching. And so when I'm teaching students, I wanted to have images that were reflective. And I noticed Brown Man had images of South Asian models, and so I approached him and said, "Hey, can I use some of those pictures in my classroom?" And from there, we just sort of got to know each other, and eventually, I said, "I want certain pictures that look a certain way, sort of business application shots, etc." And he said, "Why don't you just take shots instead?" And I thought, well, that's not a bad idea. So that's how it all started. Yeah.
And I think the great thing about this partnership is that we had the same sort of vision that we feel that South Asian people need to be more representative in mainstream media. Right. And that's what we do as a company, and Bhupesh did that as a teacher. And so we kind of had the same sort of idea, and we sort of brought our heads together and sort of, came up with this sort of concept, images that would sort of benefit our clothing line, and then as well as sort of like his vision.
Right.
So every year in the past, Brown Men Clothing Contest has a theme.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about the past themes and what was the theme this year?
So we always try to come up with something really edgy, something really different. We've had in the past where what we had was like a grunge theme where it was all in factories and it was always like dark and dirty, and so it was really gritty, and the makeup was very sort of abstract and it was very sort of theatrical. And then we've had beach themes where it's very summery, no makeup, clean, au naturel. So this year we thought, okay, you know what? we're going to scrap everything. We're not going to do any of that stuff. It's just going to be what we call as white walls. So it's just in studio white walls, nothing else.
Really?
And people think like, oh yeah, that's fine. But when you take those type of shots, it's just the model, the photographer, that's it. And you got to sell the product by just being on the
by
back of a
itself.
white wall. It sounds easy, but once you kind of get there and you know, you have a model that hasn't really modeled before, it's tough because it's more like, okay, so what do you want me to do? And it's up to the photographer and the model to kind of have that chemistry and sort of coach one another.
Right.
It's up to the photographer to know what his or her strengths are,
Right.
and weaknesses are, and then just kind of build from there.
Right. So Bhupesh, cut the long story short, what Faisal ended up doing is making your life miserable.
Yeah, pretty
Exactly.
much, yeah.
So
pretty much.
how miserable did it actually get?
Oh, it was horrible. It was unbelievable. I mean, I'd be taking shots, and he'd come in behind me and say, "No, not that way. Do it this way."
Yeah.
And it's like, "Well, why don't you tell me what you want instead?" No, but seriously, it was nice. It was difficult with the white background. Previous years, we had a lot of props and a lot of different colors and things to work with.
Which
And-
obviously makes it very easy.
It does, and especially from a vision standpoint, when you're imagining what the shot's going to look like. If it's just white wall, then it's a lot difficult. 'Cause now it really comes down to positioning of the model and how the clothes are sort of draping her or him. But it worked out well, I think.
Yeah, and,
You know,
and the model can't hide, the photographer can't hide.
Right.
And exactly what Bhupesh said is you can't use the setting now as your prop because it's just a wall.
Right.
So it is difficult. And we always we push our models, we push our makeup artists, push our hair team, and we push our photographers too. Because that's where we always kind of want to be
Right.
better than last
So
time.
was it easy to work with him? Because
Oh,
it's like a backseat driver, right?
yeah,
Like you're the photographer, you may have your own way of doing things, but then Faisal's always there to
Well,
say,
you
no,
know,
do it this
what,
way.
What he does is he gives us the vision.
Okay.
This is what I want.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's actually pretty good because he doesn't say, do this exactly the same way. What he says is, this is the vision I have.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead and do it.
Nice.
And I remember I would often come to him and say, what do you think of this? He wouldn't come to me and say, this is wrong or this is right.
Right.
But he would just say, make it look good. Here's what I'm trying to achieve with this type of shot. And then we just run with it.
Good. So it's a good
Yeah,
relationship.
It's good.
Yeah.
I think we're
It works
okay.
out well,
We're
yeah.
pretty
Good,
so far, yeah.
Yeah, I do it
You
again.
guys
I'll
look
keep
happy.
them. Look
Happy
yeah.
together. So where did these images actually end up this year?
So this year they ended up online, how they always do on our website. They ended up on our social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatnot. And people had to vote on who they thought represented the clothing line the best. And it was more like every week was an elimination style. So the model with the least amount of votes got off, and the ones with the top votes stayed on. And so that kept on going for about 6 weeks until we had one male winner, one female winner, and it was announced. And the winner gets to be in all our media advertising for Brown Man Clothing for next year, 2015, which includes our retail outlets, our web stores, any out of house advertise that we do. So they get to be in everything. So it's great exposure for anybody that's looking to be in this industry and sort of get their feet wet and try to understand what it's all about.
Right.
So what's the process of, actually we're a little short on time, but if you could briefly tell us and we'll pick it up next segment. What's the process of choosing the models? Is it like an online contest, or do you have a panel of judges, or do you yourself?
Both. Like there's a questionnaire and you got to be able to sell yourself. I always sort of say pretty people are a dime a dozen, so you got to be able to sell yourself and tell us what you're going to do.
Right.
And then, then Bhupesh pretty much says yes or no.
Well, really?
Yeah.
So you're the deciding factor.
Sometimes I'll
Even
comment.
some say,
Sometimes I'll comment.
Yeah,
Right.
You gotta, like the person's personality has to show in the picture too, and you got to send us a good picture. It's a job interview at the end of the day, right? So don't send us pictures like with gang signs or something like that. That's not going to work.
Wonderful. Well, we're going to talk about lots more stuff coming up with you guys, so just hang on tight. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with lots more.
Brown Man Clothing Company, www.brownmanclothing.com.